Hello, I'm back with another video for you today, and today I want to tell you about a fragrance that I've been loving that I picked up probably about 2 months ago when Neiman's was having a 25% discount for the, pandemic times. Well, we're still dealing with it, but 2 months ago they were having a lot of sales, and I picked up a fragrance from the house of YSL from the Vestiaire collection of fragrances called Sleek Suede. This one right here, it's a little smudgy. So I bought this. I think one of you guys had mentioned to me that it's a great scent, and I had completely missed this one. Not sure why. I never saw it in Neiman Marcus in the store. I had to buy it online, obviously. When I did the search for the discount, it was there. But I had never really smelled it, so I bought it blind because of the 25% off, and now I'm really loving it. It's not only a buttery suede leather, but it's got loads of cacao, so it's chocolatey. Now, who doesn't love that? Also, I want to compare it to one of my favorite discontinued leather fragrances, which is also from YSL. This one right here, which is called Noble Leather. I love this one. Are they similar? Lastly, I'm going to tell you a few other slightly sweeter, almost gourmand but not quite leaning leather fragrances, because you guys have been asking me and telling me that you don't like your leather fragrances to be, the very animalic, smoky kind. You want some sweetness. So I have two, in addition to this one, to talk to you today. So if you want to find out about these fragrances, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. That's right, today I'm talking about Sleek Suede from YSL, from the Le Vestiaire collection of fragrances. Now, I am not the biggest fan of YSL's fragrances, especially from their signature line, but I'm quite impressed with the smells from their Le Vestiaire collection. This is now my fourth Le Vestiaire collection fragrance, and I want to get more. And also they have other leather fragrances in the collection that I had smelled, but this one for some reason called me because, as I said, one of you guys told me about it, and also the fact that it has chocolate cacao. So I'll let you know all about this and a couple of other sweet fragrances and let you know how it compares to this. But before we do that, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed to this channel, please do by clicking the subscribe button below, and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So first of all, I wanted to ask you, who is a fan of leather fragrances? Do you like your leather fragrances to be on the smoky, dark, animalic side, or do you want some sweetness or something that's easier to wear? Let me know. Put a comment down so I can find out. And what do you guys think about the idea of a chocolate cacao combo of suede leather? For example, this particular one, Sleek Suede. Tell me, put a comment down so I find out. So I'm going to tell you, this was launched in 2017. So this was the first time I had smelled it blind a few months ago when I bought it for the 25% off. This is an Oriental leather fragrance. It's created by a perfumer by the name of Mathilde Bijaoui. I think that's how you pronounce it. This concentration is Eau de Parfum. It's a 75 ml bottle for $175. Now, this collection comes in different sizes. Some fragrances are 4.2 ounce. I think it's 120 ml. And some fragrances are 75 ml. There isn't a larger size. At least I don't think there is a larger size of this. It only comes in a 75 ml for $175. The notes are, according to YSL's website, tan leather, warm cocoa beans, suede leather, black oud wood. Now that's what they say on the website, but I mean on YSL's website. If you look up Fragrantica, for example, they list other notes. But I'm going to go with what YSL lists, and I'm going to tell you what I'm smelling with this one. So it is a leathery fragrance, but again, it's the type that you can actually enjoy. But there are smoky touches here, just be warned. But it is a nice contrast with the sweetness of the cacao. I mean, there's a lot of chocolate here, but it's the kind of chocolate that's not syrup. It's more dusting. So if you've ever gone to a cafe like Starbucks or Peet's Coffee or something, you've gotten a cappuccino, and then when you go to that place where you're get the mixers and things, and you've dusted the cacao, that cacao on your cappuccino is the kind of cacao I get here. So there is this kind of a dry, powdery element with it. But you know what? The smell is so fantastic that I almost want to eat it up. It's that chocolatey. So it's actually so delicious that am I wearing a gourmand fragrance? Am I wearing a leather fragrance? It's definitely on the Oriental side because we have all those Oriental notes in here, but it's different. It's not like full-on gourmand. It's not like full-on leather. It's a nice balance of the two, and sometimes I can understand, like those of you guys that were asking me recently if I knew of any sweeter leather fragrances or leather fragrances that are not so dark, not so smoky, not so animalic. I would recommend this one. Now, again, this is an expensive fragrance. It's $175 for 75 ml. So I would advise you to, get a sample or a decant or something, buy one, and to test it out before you get a blind buy. But as I said, sometimes you can find a sale or a deal or something. So 25% off of this was a pretty good deal for me, and I immediately took advantage of it because I've been wanting it, and I never saw it in the store, as I said. But when that time came, I jumped at it. But it's a smoky, kind of a sweet fragrance. There are just smoky touches here, but it doesn't ever go animalic. So in the end, will I call this a full-on leather? It is a smoother. It is definitely a slightly buttery, creamy experience. So the leather is smooth and refined, but don't get me wrong, there's a lot of powdery elements here. So there's a lot of just imagine the dusting, as I said, the dusting of the cacao on your cappuccino. That's the kind of wearing experience it is. For me, I don't have the best performance with dusty, powdery fragrances. I feel like since I have dry skin, those fragrances kind of evaporate faster than something that's sticky and syrupy. So there is that issue with this one, but I feel like it clings on very close. It stays on a good, I'd say it's a decent performer, but then again, we are dealing with a designer. The fragrances are not necessarily the longest lasting. At least for me, they're not. Some of you say that they last a long time. It depends on how much fragrance you wear versus not. But if you're going through a lot of different fragrances, I feel like this is moderate, not overly beastly, not overly anything like that. But as a smell, it is a great smell. One other thing I want to say is I would have definitely featured this in a chocolate or cacao fragrances video because it smells really great. And the contrast of the leather and leather suede, I should say it's suede because it's called sleek suede. It's great contrast. It's like sweet leather suede, smooth and gourmand and delicious. All of that is very yummy. It's great. Now the oud, I think, in here is what's giving us the smokiness. And the smokiness, again, it's not strong. It's not overly strong, but it's a nice smoke. It works. And it's a nice contrast with the sweetness of the cacao. I love this. I really love this. It doesn't really replace this because they're nothing alike. And let me tell you a little bit about this. I don't know if you guys wore this before, but I bought my bottle back in 2013, somewhere around there, maybe early 2014. Noble Leather was part of YSL's Oriental's collection. As you can see, the design on it. Now they eventually discontinued this series and put everything in the Le Vestiaire collection, but they did not put this one in there. And I can see why. Up until this video, I was thinking, God, when are they going to put a Noble Leather in this collection? And I can see. I started wearing this a little bit before I did shooting this video, and I'm seeing now why it's not in the collection, because it really does remind me of not only Tuscan Leather, but Godolphin from Parfums and Marley and a few other things. So in the end, if you want something that smells like Tuscan Leather, but more on the dried fruits, more on focusing on nectarines, apricots, and peaches fruits rather than raspberry, then this is the one you would do, because I really love that about it. And the dried fruits was a nice contrast with the leather. Amazing contrast. And that's why I preferred this one more than Tuscan Leather. I mean, don't get me wrong, Tuscan Leather is great, and I feel like this might have been inspired by Tuscan Leather, and that's why I feel like they probably don't want to put it in the Le Vestiaire collection, because it reminds, probably definitely they know it reminds people of Tuscan Leather. Again, there are the differences. It's not raspberries, it's more fruits, stone fruits, nectarines, apricots, peaches, but in the end it is. But for me, it is coming closer to Godolphin, this particular fragrance. This one, not at all, obviously. This is totally cacao and suede leather. But if you're looking for an alternative of this one I think does come close. Again, this is close to Tuscan Leather as well, but for me, I feel like there's not only raspberries here, I do get some stone fruit as well. So this is an alternative for this. One other thing I want to mention, there is another one from a small indie niche house out of Berlin called SCHWARZLOSE Berlin, this one right here. This is Liter 6, which I did a review of. Also kind of hints at this, but for me, this one, I feel like it's less fruit. So if you want it less fruity, more leather, slightly smokier, then Liter 6 will do also for you. Now going back to sweeter leather fragrances, because, you know, after all, we are talking about sleek suede, and sleek suede is definitely on the sweeter side for a leather. Two other leather fragrances I want to talk to you about. One is called Tom of Finland, which I have a full review on this channel, from the house of Etat Libre d'Orange. I'm going to spray this real quickly and then let it dry. And the other one that I want to point out also is another one that I recently reviewed called MV Agusta from the house of Xerjoff. And let's spray this one on here as well. Both of these two fragrances are focusing on more of a suede-ish leather, whereas the Xerjoff, let me let that dry a little bit. Let's go back to the Etat Libre d'Orange. So the Tom of Finland from Etat Libre d'Orange is a suede leather, but it has vanilla. So here you have a nice sweet syrupy contrast with the buttery suede leather in here. There's a little bit of a Tonka note in here, so it gets a little nutty, a little bit, not too much. But they have added Birchwood here, because Birchwood I feel like comes up a lot in leather fragrances, comes up in Chanel's Cœur de Russie and a bunch of others. So it adds a nice smokiness. Birchwood is known to be smoky. And here we also have a little powdery touches from Iris, and then everything is lifted up with some aldehydes, because aldehydes make everything lighter. And here the aldehydes kind of like lightens up the leathery experience. So if you're looking for an easier to wear leather, but you gotta love sweetness, of course, from the vanilla and slightly gourmand leaning, but this is not gourmand, definitely try Tom of Finland. I highly recommend it. And when I got this for the first time, although not for the review, I was actually sampling it a lot here in our store, perfume shop in San Francisco called ZGO Perfumery. I kept coming back to it because I really was enjoying it, and that's why I had requested to do a review of that one. So it is on a sweeter side. It's easier to wear. Just keep in mind it could get sweet. Now, as far as MV Agusta from Xerjoff, this one seems to be, for me, classic leaning. It has lots of classic touches here, but it's a buttery leather. It's a great buttery suede leather, but floral at the same time. Loads of Ylang here. Iris, suede leather, patchouli, musk, incense. Now this one, I think it's less sweet than the Etat Libre d'Orange, but still on the sweeter side. But this one also has classic touches. You gotta love classic fragrances, because this really takes me back to the classic days when some of the earlier queers had popped up as far as leather fragrances go. But this is really, really elegant. I love this one. I could see this dressy, being a very, very dressy fragrance and smelling fantastic going out, dressed in black. And the bottle, as you can see, totally shows that. Anyway, those are my thoughts on these fragrances. Sweeter leather fragrances. Sleek suede is great, guys. If you like chocolate, if you like slightly smoky leather fragrances, this is definitely one for you to try. I'm quite impressed with the Vestiaire collection from YSL. I want to explore the whole thing now. Sadly, we can't go into the stores, although I think now I can go into Neiman Marcus, but a little scared to go in. Better put my mask on. I always do anyway. But I want to explore this collection more. So the other fragrances I have from this collection, the Vestiaire collection, are Caftan, Vinyl. Vinyl is a vanilla with a vinyl-like quality. And then there's one more, I'm drawing a blank. But let me know what other fragrances from this collection I should check out, because now I'm really quite impressed. They do great scents here in this collection. Sadly, I'm not a fan of YSL's original collection. There are a few exceptions, but I feel like the Vestiaire collection is a lot more interesting and unique as far as smells go and quality goes. So if you have any favorites from this collection, do let me know what they are. Just keep in mind I already own Vinyl and Caftan. Anyway, those are my thoughts today. This is a great fragrance. Go check it out, and also the other fragrances. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Otherwise, please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.